What if aging wasn't the end of youth, but the beginning of wisdom? What if every wrinkle on your face was not a mark of decay, but a sacred script written by time itself, a story only your soul could read? We fear growing old. We fear the slow passing of strength, the fading of memory, the quiet emptiness that creeps in when the world moves faster than we can follow. But Buddha once said, "Everything that has the nature to arise also has the nature to cease." The truth is, time does not take from us. It transforms us. And when we finally learn to see aging not as loss, but as awakening, that's when grace begins. An old monk, Ananda, sat beneath the ancient Bodhi tree, his eyes half closed, his hands trembling slightly as he held a cup of tea. The evening sun painted golden patterns on his robe, each ray landing like a gentle reminder that even light fades, and yet it always returns. He whispered to himself, "My body grows slower, my breath shorter, but why does my mind still chase the youth I once was?" Ananda was once the pride of the monastery, a strong, radiant monk with a voice that guided others through storms of doubt. He taught meditation, he debated philosophy, he carried wisdom like a flame. But now, his voice trembled. Sometimes words disappeared halfway through a sentence. And silence, once his friend, now echoed like loneliness. Aging had arrived not as an enemy, but as a mirror that showed him everything he hadn't let go of. That night, as he walked through the empty corridors of the monastery, he passed the meditation hall, dimly lit by a single oil lamp. Inside, a young monk was sitting in meditation, his back straight, his breath steady. Ananda watched from the doorway, and a wave of nostalgia washed through him. He remembered being that young. He remembered the first night he vowed to find enlightenment, so certain that life was long, that time was his companion. Now, it felt like a dream that had drifted too far. He smiled gently and whispered, "Perhaps youth is the illusion that time is endless." That evening, as the wind turned colder, Ananda returned to his small cell. He lit a candle, its flicker dancing like the breath of impermanence. On the wall hung a faded painting of the Buddha beneath the Bodhi tree, serene, ageless, infinite. Ananda bowed to it and whispered, "Master, I have spent my life seeking your wisdom, but now, as the years fold upon me, I do not seek enlightenment, I seek peace. Teach me how to grow old gracefully." He closed his eyes and began to meditate. At first his mind wandered, to the days when his legs didn't ache, to the students who once gathered eagerly around him, to the faces of those who had left before him. But slowly his breath deepened, his heartbeat softened, and time began to dissolve. In the stillness of his breath, he heard something he hadn't heard in years, the gentle voice within. "Ananda, who is it that grows old?" He opened his eyes, startled. The voice wasn't outside, it was within his mind, calm, clear, luminous. He whispered, "It is I, the one who was born." The voice replied, "And who watches the one that grows old?" Ananda's breath trembled. He realized there was another presence within him, something ancient, vast, untouched by time, a watcher beyond the body, a consciousness that had seen countless lives, countless faces, countless deaths. He began to remember fragments, moments that were not his, yet they felt deeply familiar. A flash of a battlefield, a glimpse of a mother holding her child, the sound of rain falling on a wooden shrine centuries ago. They weren't memories of this life, they were echoes of past lives, like dreams surfacing from a deep ocean. Ananda gasped softly. He felt tears rise, not of sadness, but of recognition. All this time, he had mistaken aging for decline. But what he was witnessing was continuity, a long, infinite journey of consciousness wearing many faces. Ananda whispered to the silence, "If I have lived 1,000 lives, then why do I fear the end of this one?" And in that moment, he saw the truth. He didn't fear death, he feared forgetting the faces he loved, the students he guided, the temple he built with his hands. But deep within, the same voice answered again. Nothing is lost, The Bodhisattva carries all lives within his heart. The old body fades, but compassion never dies. That night, as Ananda drifted into sleep, he felt a gentle warmth spreading through his chest, like the first sunrise after a long winter. He whispered his final thought before sleep took him. If this is what growing old means, may I age with kindness. And so began the Bodhisattva's true journey, not toward youth or strength, but toward grace. The grace that blooms only when one learns to love every passing season of their own becoming. In the stillness of his breath, he heard something he hadn't heard in years, the gentle voice within. Ananda, who is it that grows old? He opened his eyes, startled. The voice wasn't outside. It was within his mind, calm, clear, luminous. He whispered, "It is I, the one who was born." The voice replied, "And who watches the one who grows old?" Ananda's breath trembled. He realized there was another presence within him, something ancient, vast, untouched by time, a watcher beyond the body, a consciousness that had seen countless lives, countless faces, countless deaths. He began to remember fragments, moments that were not his, yet they felt deeply familiar. A flash of a battlefield, a glimpse of a mother holding her child, the sound of rain falling on a wooden shrine centuries ago. They weren't memories of this life. They were echoes of past lives, like dreams surfacing from a deep ocean. Ananda gasped softly. He felt tears rise, not of sadness, but of recognition. All this time, he had mistaken aging for decline, but what he was witnessing was continuity, a long, infinite journey of consciousness wearing many faces. Ananda whispered to the silence, "If I have lived 1,000 lives, then why do I fear the end of this one?" And in that moment, he saw the truth. He didn't fear death. He feared forgetting the faces he loved, the students he guided, the temple he built with his hands. But deep within, the same voice answered again, "Nothing is lost. The Bodhisattva carries all lives within his heart. The old body fades, but compassion never dies." That night, as Ananda drifted into sleep, he felt a gentle warmth spreading through his chest, like the first sunrise after a long winter. He whispered his final thought before sleep took him. If this is what growing old means, may I age with kindness. And so began the Bodhisattva's true journey, not toward youth or strength, but toward grace. The grace that blooms only when one learns to love every passing season of their own becoming. The Bodhisattva's voice echoed gently. Do you see, Ananda? Youth believes enlightenment is a mountain to be climbed. Age learns it is the sky, infinite, everywhere. Ananda stared at his reflection. The river rippled, and both faces merged into one. For the first time, he understood. Enlightenment was never about reaching somewhere else. It was about seeing, deeply, the sacredness of what already is. The young monk sought truth through effort, the old monk through surrender. Both were parts of the same awakening. The Bodhisattva walked closer, placing a hand over Ananda's heart. "Listen," said the Bodhisattva. "Can you hear it?" Ananda closed his eyes. Within the silence, the sound of his heart pulsed like a drum of eternity. Each beat carried voices, laughter, sorrow, love, loss, echoes of lifetimes flowing through him. This heart, the Bodhisattva said, has lived 1,000 times. It has been broken, mended, and broken again, until compassion became its only song. This is what you truly are, not the body that grows old, but the love that grows boundless.
Tears streamed down Ananda's face. He felt as if his soul was dissolving, not into nothing, but into everything. The Bodhisattva extended a hand toward the sky. The rain was not wet, it was made of light. Each droplet held images of the people Ananda had loved and lost. Every being you meet, said the Bodhisattva, is a reflection of your own unfinished love. To age gracefully is to forgive everyone, including yourself. Ananda whispered, "But my body is failing. How can I serve others when I can barely rise each morning?" The Bodhisattva smiled. Service changes with the seasons of life. In youth, you serve through action. In age, you serve through presence. The peace within you is now your teaching. Let others rest in your stillness. Ananda realized then that wisdom is not a collection of lessons. It is the quiet radiance that comes when one stops fighting time. He looked around. The mountain, the river, the rain, everything shimmered, merging into pure light. The Bodhisattva spoke again. "Do you remember, Ananda, what the Buddha taught about the body?" Ananda nodded faintly, that it is impermanent, a vessel for awakening. "Yes," said the Bodhisattva, "but he also said the body is the first temple, and aging is its sacred closing ceremony. Every line, every tremor, every sigh is the body bowing to impermanence. To walk the Bodhisattva path is to let this temple fall, not in despair, but in gratitude." Ananda fell to his knees, weeping softly. "Then old age is not my punishment. It is your offering," the Bodhisattva said, "your proof that compassion has endured the test of time." The Bodhisattva lifted his palm, and suddenly Ananda saw countless faces emerging within the light. Elders, monks, mothers, fathers, forgotten ancestors, each smiling gently, their eyes filled with peace. "These are the ones who walked before you," said the Bodhisattva. "Each step they took made your awakening possible, and one day others will walk after you, guided by the light you leave behind." Ananda bowed deeply, his forehead touching the luminous ground. "Then let me carry this understanding back with me. Let me teach others not to fear age, but to embrace it as the final lesson." The Bodhisattva nodded. "You will, but first you must cross one final threshold, the gate between remembering and forgetting." Suddenly, Ananda felt the dream begin to dissolve. The light folded inward, pulling him gently toward a single glowing lotus that floated above the golden river. It pulsed like a living heart. "Step into it," said the Bodhisattva, "and you will awaken." Ananda hesitated, not from fear, but from awe. He looked back once more at the Bodhisattva and asked, "Will I remember you?" The Bodhisattva smiled, the kind of smile that holds galaxies of compassion. "You will not remember me with your mind, but your heart will know. Every time you breathe in peace, every time you forgive, every time you smile at the passing of time, it will be me." With tears of gratitude, Ananda stepped forward. As his foot touched the glowing lotus, a radiant sound burst forth, like 1,000 temple bells ringing in unison. Light engulfed him. His body dissolved. His consciousness expanded, beyond form, beyond memory, beyond self. He saw the universe breathing. He saw stars being born and dying in the same moment. He saw his own heart reflected in every living being. There was no aging, no death, no beginning, no end, only the eternal pulse of awareness, the silent laughter of the infinite. And in that silence, the Bodhisattva whispered one last truth. Aging is the soul remembering itself. It is the gradual unveiling of who you have always been. The voice faded, the light dimmed, and as dawn's first ray touched the world of men, Ananda's eyes opened. He was back in his cell. The candle had burned to its end, leaving only a trail of smoke. His body felt light, weak yet radiant from within. He placed a hand on his chest, smiled faintly, and whispered, "Thank you, my teacher, myself." Outside, the sun rose slowly over the monastery. The young monks were beginning their morning prayers, and for the first time in years, Ananda rose without struggle. He walked out toward the Bodhi tree, his steps small, but his presence vast, as if the entire sky moved with him. The Bodhisattva's vision had changed him. He no longer saw aging as loss, but as illumination. Every breath was a new dawn, every wrinkle a verse of the Dharma. He realized the body may bend, but the spirit only bows to wisdom.
When dawn arrived in the monastery, the first rays of light touched the silent courtyard, and something changed within Arjun. He felt as if the morning sun was whispering to him, "Begin again." He walked towards the great Bodhi tree, old, vast, and breathing with time. There, under its silent shade, sat an elder monk. His name was Bhante Samitha, known across villages as the one who remembers. Some said he could recall the lives he had lived before. Others said he could walk between the dream and the waking world, where karma reveals its hidden designs. Arjun approached him with trembling hands. "Bhante," he said softly, "my heart feels old, but not wise. My years feel heavy, not sacred. I am afraid of what is coming, of becoming forgotten, of losing purpose, of dying before truly living." The monk looked up, his eyes serene like two calm lakes. He said nothing, only motioned for Arjun to sit. "Bhante Samitha, do you know, my child, that aging is not the body growing old, it is the self refusing to grow up?" Arjun frowned. "Grow up? I've lived 50 years, Bhante. I've worked, struggled, raised a family. What more is there to grow?" The monk smiled faintly. "Time has moved, yes, but the mind, has it learned to let go? Has it learned to forgive? Has it learned to see? Every wrinkle," Bhante continued, "is a story your body carries. But the soul, it carries stories beyond this life. In your dreams, haven't you felt déjà vu? Haven't you met someone you've never seen, but your heart knew them?" Arjun nodded slowly. "Yes, sometimes I see faces in dreams, strange yet familiar." The monk closed his eyes. "Those are echoes, my child, from lives before. Your fear of aging, of being forgotten, it comes from the karma of attachment, lifetimes of clinging to what must be released." That night, Bhante invited Arjun to meditate under the Bodhi tree. He said, "You must learn to travel beyond the boundaries of waking life, into the dream realm, where the soul reveals what words cannot." Arjun hesitated. He had meditated before, but never like this, never into the silence where breath and time dissolve. "Close your eyes," Bhante whispered. "Breathe as if the whole universe is breathing with you." As the night deepened, Arjun's body felt lighter, his thoughts slowed, and suddenly he was no longer sitting beneath the tree. He found himself standing in a vast field of golden light. The air shimmered like silk, and every sound felt alive. Distant chanting, a bell, a heartbeat. A figure approached him, a younger version of himself from another time. The youth carried a scroll and wore a warrior's robe stained with dust and blood. "Who are you?" Arjun asked. The youth smiled. "I know you. I am who you were lifetimes ago, the one who sought glory instead of peace." Arjun's chest tightened. "Why are you showing me this?" The youth unrolled the scroll. It was blank. "Because all I chased faded. Titles, pride, achievements, all turned to dust. You fear aging because you still believe your worth is in what you do, not what you are." In that moment, Arjun saw, not through eyes, but through awareness. He saw countless versions of himself across time. A poet in a faraway land whose verses outlived him. A farmer who worked the same soil again and again. A mother in one life who lost her child and vowed never to love again. Each life, the same pattern: attachment, pain, rebirth, fear of losing what was never meant to stay. "The body grows old," Bhante said. "The soul, it repeats. Until one remembers, until one awakens." Arjun opened his eyes. The night was still. Bhante sat unmoved, his presence vast as the sky. "I saw my lives," he whispered. "I saw how every fear I have today was born long before this life." The monk nodded gently. "And yet, you are awake now. That is the beginning of wisdom, not escape, but awareness." He leaned closer.
Listen carefully, Arjun. The Bodhisattva Path is not about growing old gracefully. It is about aging into awareness. It is the art of dying to the past in every moment so that life can be born anew. Bhante then shared a teaching, one whispered from the lineage of ancient masters. The young seek freedom from pain. The wise seek understanding of it. For only through understanding does one become truly free. Arjun saw the Bhante in a moment of clarity. So, suffering isn't a punishment? No, Bhante replied. It's a reminder. A reminder that you still believe something outside you can complete you. He looked at the first light rising over the horizon. Do you see that sunrise, my son? It looks new every day, but it is the same sun. So it is with your soul. Each birth, each year, each wrinkle, the same consciousness wearing a different face. Arjun closed his eyes again, and this time tears flowed freely. He realized all the chasing, all the comparison, all the noise was only him trying to escape himself. In that stillness, something broke, not in pain, but in surrender. He whispered, "I forgive myself for not seeing." And for the first time in his life, his aging face felt light, not old, but eternal. Bhante Samhita. When you carry peace in your heart, age becomes your prayer, your wrinkles, your sutras, your silence, your wisdom. Every morning you wake up, ask yourself, what will I let go of today? That is how one grows young again. That night, as Arjun returned to his small monk's cell, he wrote a single sentence on the wall beside his bed. I am not growing old, I am returning home. And for the first time in his life, he slept, not dreaming of the past, nor fearing the future, but resting in the peace of now. But the journey wasn't over, for even as Arjun awoke in newfound peace, the test of true wisdom was yet to come, when life itself would challenge everything he had learned.
If this story touched something deep within you, if it reminded you that growing older is not losing time, but gaining truth, then carry this light forward. Share it, not for fame, but for someone who may be lost in their own storm, someone who has forgotten the beauty of simply being. Let this story travel as compassion, as peace, as awakening. And when you breathe tonight, remember, you are not aging. You are returning home to yourself. Share this light if it awakens something in you.